So the final step for updating our product picture is that we will need to actually run it and make sure everything's working. So we have our dependency injector utility calling get inventory utility. We have our inv util and calling update product picture. We're passing in that product ID as well as the buffer. So once this happens and does so successfully, we need to go ahead and update the image that shows up in our design view to reflect that change. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to scroll back up here, and I want to look at, let's see here, where is it? Load picture. So right now we actually have some code that we wrote previously to be able to actually load the picture into the dialog or into the picture box. So what I'm going to do is I want to refactor this. So I'm actually going to highlight both of these lines of code, and then I'm going to right click on them. And then I'm going to look for the option of refactor in my menu, and I'm going to choose extract, and I want to extract a method. Now what this is going to do is Visual Studio will actually look at my code and try to find kind of the boundary, so to speak, of where my functionality begins and ends, and then create a method that I can reuse, because the code here of stream picture box new memory stream product.picture picture or pickbox picture.image, all of this is going to basically be the same code or similar code I'm going to need to put down here in order to update that photo. So instead of having to write the code twice, I'm going to move it into a function and then call that function in both places. That way if I change how I'm using the code to load the picture, I can make the change in one place, change the function, and then everything will be updated from there. So to refactor this, I'm going to select all the text, right click, choose quick actions. It'll pop up with an extract option, and it'll kind of give me a preview to say it's going to create a new method, and it's going to move all of that work into this new method. So I'm going to go ahead and choose extract method, and then it highlights the word new method and basically is saying go ahead and type in what you want to call it. I'm going to make it be called show picture. Now the extraction and refactor process isn't 100%. It tries to do a best guess, and it bases it off of the local context only. So we'll see here now it says show picture, and it wants me to pass in the product object. Now that works perfectly fine here because I have a product. The problem is that later on down I don't have a product to actually pass. All I have is the bytes or the buffer of that image. So what I can do is instead of passing in a product, I can actually say I'm going to pass in a picture buffer, which is essentially a byte array. Now this picture buffer may seem a little arbitrary, but if we come back to product and we do .picture, we'll notice that the picture property off of our product is a byte array or a buffer. So we can choose that picture and pass that in, and then here we can replace product.picture with picture buffer, and that code is still perfectly functional. And that becomes then our private helper method. So I'm going to cut that and I'm going to move it down here to the bottom just so we can see it. And then I'm going to call that method here. I'm going to say show picture, show new picture. So we'll say show picture, and then from here we will pass in the buffer. And that will then update the picture box to show the new buffer. So we'll go ahead and save that and hit start. Alright, so we'll go products, search, B for ball, double click on the basketball, click on change picture, jump to my downloads, go to downloads and choose basketball. And there we go. There is now our new image. So if we click save, I'm going to go ahead and do a search, and there is our new basketball image. It's now loaded into our application. So we've now successfully made it so that we can come in and we can change pictures, browse for new photos, and update the photos inside of our application.